Greetings, everyone. How are y'all doing today? Happy Monday. Monday is the day that the moon rules, and the moon is currently in Aries, in the last decan of Aries. And so the moon in Aries, the moon is to me, the way I see the moon as the minute hand in our cosmic clock. The moon is the energy that governs the water, it governs our inner world, and as it moves through our zodiac, our heavens, it ignites those aspects of us. It ignites the water in our bodies, it ignites our emotions, it pulls the water on the planet, so the tide, and all of that is a part of a system, like a system that works one to the next, right? And so the moon is the part of the system that activates our inner world, the water in our body, how we feel, and in astrology, they say what we need. So the moon is currently in Aries, and Aries is the energy of the self. So we are really changing as a human species. Our bodies are changing. I was at the spa the other day, and there was this woman that I started talking to, and while we were talking, she was just massaging her body, and she said to me that her skeleton is changing. Her actual skeleton is changing, and she can feel her body going through these deep changes. And that is one woman who is having that experience, but most of us are having deep cellular changes that are occurring that we have not had language for before now, that we run to the doctors for. The doctors don't know what it is because it is a deep cellular shift that is occurring, that is happening through us. Now, the energy of the moon in Aries is about new beginnings, and our old reality is ending, the old way we have externalized the world. Some of the practical ways that we've have externalized the world is we go to doctors to get solutions for what's going on inside of us, as if they know better than we do. And in this timeline, they have, because we have not been taught to connect to ourselves, to trust our bodies. But now there is a lot of somatic information and tools and healing coming online. So we are learning to relate to our bodies in new ways. Like I said, I was talking to this woman the other day, and she was massaging her body the whole time, telling me how her skeleton is changing. Now, to the average person, her saying that might have sound weird, but to me, I was like, yeah, that's Capricorn. Like, your skeleton is Capricorn, and where is that in your chart? And what are the herbs and things you're taking for? Because as an astrologer, I'm watching the cosmological clock, and I know that we are transforming as human beings. We are literally morphing, evolving, getting upgrades. We're getting upgrades. The sun's light is changing. The Schumann resonance is changing. There has just been an energetic shift. We had this experience with 3i Atlas, which is not, to me, any different than when new planets have been made available to the consciousness of a human being. So the planets that we know now, they weren't always known. I mean, they were by the Dogon tribes, the Africans. They've always known. But to the Western people who believe all of this, European, Western, science, they're just knowing that, they discovered Neptune in 17 such and such and all this sort of stuff, right? Or, who knows? I don't know all the dates, but I'm saying that when these new planetary energies come in, they open up our consciousness to a new way of being. And we are transforming. We are changing. Who we have known ourselves to be is going away. And it is as if you graduate from high school to college and your education changes and you change, but we're changing in a different way now. We're changing in our DNA. Our DNA is being upgraded. So our bodies are changing, our psyches are changing, our subconscious is changing. The way we relate to reality is changing. The way we understand ourselves as humans is changing. And we haven't lived through that before. So I wish I could. I mean, there are some things that I can just um, I can share, like some of the things I'm beginning to experience already. I'm beginning to experience the fulfillment of my thoughts really rapidly. Like as soon as I think something, it's already happening. Um, And I don't think that that's really a big deal. You know what I mean? I think like that's of course. Um, my animals are starting to really communicate with me. Like my animals are demanding that I comprehend what they are saying. And that is an interesting thing. And it's not happening through language, it's happening through sense emotional feeling. So, for instance, one of my cats is very food motivated, the other one not so much. And you can tell the difference. Like one of them is probably 5 or 6 pounds heavier than the other because she's so food motivated. But I give them the same amount of food. And if the smaller cat walks away from her bowl before her food is finished, which she usually does because she doesn't eat for entertainment, she just eats when she's actually hungry. The heavier cat will come and eat her food. And I have been working to communicate to her that I want her to leave that food alone. Don't eat her food. Just because it's there, don't eat it. And for months, I have been working to get a feeling of that in the body so that I could communicate it to her in a way that she could feel it, that wasn't about language, that wasn't about me being angry, that was literally about like a boundary that I could extend out of my system that she would adhere to, and vice versa. Like that we both are communicating through this energetic, intuitive field, like understanding the field, like sonar. That's what I'm saying, like sonar. Like how we understand that whales and dolphins send signals through water. We've been taught about that. As humans, I'm beginning to develop that in me with my cats intentionally. I already have it. Like I can think about somebody and they call. It's a sonar, and it's telepathy. It's intuition, right? And so that's just one of the new ways that I'm beginning to be able to access communication that I didn't have awareness of before now, because we have been in a world that has us externalizing everything. And the reason I'm talking about this is because we are in the Aries moon. We are going to a Gemini full moon, and we are beginning a new cycle. We are dying to old ways of being. I'm saying a lot of things while birthing a new way of being. And what I'm saying is I'm sharing how that's looking inside of me at a personal level, on a personal level. And I'm asking you to see how it looks inside of you on a personal level. We're ending what in your life is ending, what behaviors, mindsets, ways of being are totally dissolving, what is ending in your external world. Like, do you have relationships ending? Like, what in your external world is ending? But know that that thing that's ending in your external world is because you need to make space for something else that is occurring, and because something inside of you. It's not about the people. Like, we often tend to think relationships are ending because that person did something. It's because you're changing. It is because you are shifting. Your energy is changing, and you can no longer hold that resonance at the level of how you have been in alignment with that person or that job or that experience or that marriage before now. The resonance is changing. The energy is changing. And the more you can take responsibility for it, the more grace that you might be able to access within it. And the reason I'm saying it at this level, for those of you who are astrologers, my work is to follow the nodes. And the South Node is currently in Virgo. So that means that our karma, what is being released, what we're really facing, is these interpersonal experiences of how we care for ourselves, how we relate to ourselves. And then the people in our lives show up and reflect back to us who we are with ourselves. So we live in a reality that we have interpreted as an experience of separation, meaning I'm separate from the tree. I'm separate from the dog that I see. I'm separate from the sky. But that's the illusion. We're not separate. We're all one, right? And right now, with the South Node moving through Virgo, we're being asked to clean up our old ways of being. Clean up our old ways of being. And the reason why is because this nodal shift that we're in with the nodes in Virgo and Pisces started last year when the sun was in Capricorn. And Capricorn is about authority. So what we've been doing for the last 12 months and what we'll be doing for the next 6 months is gaining our authority. Your authority, your mind is your authority, your choices, no longer having experiences where you are outsourcing your authority, where somebody is telling you what you need to do in order for you to be okay, because no one else has the answer. The world that we're living in is going to become very connected to your individual code, like your DNA. Your natal chart will be the determining factor of your reality. The karma that you need to clean up is based on your South Node. Where's your South Node in your natal chart? The life that you are building is based on your North Node. Where is that in your natal chart? What are you up to? And you are unraveling yourself from this old way of being that had you thinking you had to go to school to get this. You need money. You needed a marriage. You needed a man. You needed a woman. You need all these external things, rather than understanding that all of these external things are truly just reflections, projections of your internal reality, in the name of oneness, in the name of connection, because we are all one. So while the moon is in Aries, the question is, what are you accessing as a beginning? What behaviors? If you're not following me on Substack, I invite you to go do that. I'm on Substack and I write about this stuff, and it feels easier to write about it sometimes than to talk about it. But what is it that you are really stepping into as your I am self, your true identity? How is your identity shifting? And as we move to the full moon in Gemini, which is going to be at the 13th degree, which is an Aries degree, you have to get clear about your perception, the story you're telling about yourself. This is the story you are telling about. You have to claim your place, claim your power. And if you're not clear what that looks like, go understand your natal chart. Your natal chart is the key to how you are meant to function at this time on the planet. As we are moving through an era shift, we are moving through a whole reality changing from one to the next. Everything is about to shift. And if you are not sure what that is to look like for you, It is in your natal chart. Now, here's what I want to say. It's more of an internal thing than an external thing. When I was in all my life, I've always known that I was here to fulfill something. But because of the way I was educated, taught math and English and all these social ideas and religion, I believed that I was here to fulfill something outside of me. Like, I believed that I was here to do something in the world. And I'm not saying that that was the incorrect way, that I'm not here to do something that's in the world, but I didn't understand that I was really here to bring something from inside of me into the world. And that's different. That is different. And we are all here to do that at this time. You're here to give birth to your authentic self and bring your true self into the world. So your natal chart can help you access that. And I didn't understand that until I was really in my mind trying to get to somewhere. In my mind, I was trying to figure out how I was going to get to be who I was meant to be. Was I going to go to school to do it? And what occurred was that I got pregnant and my son was diagnosed with Down syndrome. And that journey took me so deep into myself that I discovered, like, oh, I'm an astrologer. Oh, this is the language that I speak. Oh, this is what feels true for me. Like, that experience of being pregnant and giving birth to a person who had a different way of being in the world opened me up to the infinite possibilities of the world and helped me to understand that those infinite possibilities were inside of me, not outside of me. Those infinite possibilities were not going to be in a man who loved me and filled some romantic notion of happily ever after. Those infinite possibilities were not about a job that was going to make me feel successful and happy. Those infinite possibilities were going to come out of my connection to my own codes and my own capacity and ability to listen to the voice within me and take heed. And take heed to what I'm being directed to do from inside. And when I do it, it creates fulfillment. It creates joy. I feel really connected to the ancestral realm. I feel connected to the invisible forces. And I'm often doing exactly the opposite of what the world would have said, right? It literally requires an inversion in my way of thinking and in my way of being. And it is everything. It is everything. And that's why, it wasn't until I started really studying that I understood that everybody's solution is different. I've shared before here how I had this lover, and his Viagra was he would eat 8 oranges, right? But if you go to the doctor would have given him a pill that the doctor gave everybody. But the universe is abundant and infinite possibilities, and your codes are like no one else's codes. Your solutions are like no one else's solutions. And we're living in a time where you are going to need to practice and get clear about what are the solutions for you. If it's one thing I've always known about my life, even as a child, is that this universe is solution-based. There is a solution for every challenge. If there is a challenge, that means there is a solution. So today with the moon in Aries, you want to look at where are you beginning? What's being activated within you? What is being activated within you? And how can you look at that from a perspective of more of yourself and less of the world? More of yourself and less of the world. All right, you all. If you want to have a deeper understanding of this past Mercury retrograde that we are in the final 3 weeks of, you can go to healwithmoonmama.com and pick up the alchemy of I think it's the alchemy of the spirit. And if you're also interested in completing the Saturn retrograde work, you can go to my website and pick up the Saturn retrograde workbook as well, and do the rituals and the practices to get yourself current with where we are And then, we will continue to move forward, because this is a blossoming. This is an opening. This is not an all or nothing. This is a gentle, slow process if you are present to it. Now, if you're not present to it, it could be very, very, very challenging. But if you're present, it's gentle. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.